Alright, welcome to another exciting episode of the Annihilation Lounge right here on the AWM official YouTube page. Thank you. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this amazing channel where you can catch another episode of the podcast right here and other videos on our page. All you gotta do is subscribe and click that bell notification icon and turn on notifications so you get notified every single time I drop another video right here on YouTube. Thank you. Alright, now let's get into today's official episode. Basically, it's going to be a random episode again. I apologize if all you're seeing are different pictures on the screen instead of my beautiful, beautiful face. With that being said, I apologize. I am working on trying to get an actual webcam so that I can record videos and make it that much better of an experience right here on the page. As you see, I have released wrestling commentary videos, horror story videos, movie review videos, the works. Pretty soon I'm going to be trying my best to do a vlog. I am new at doing vlogs, so I'm kind of nervous at trying to do a vlog, but stick with me. This channel will get more and more defined as videos increase. So please stick with me by subscribing and clicking that bell icon to get notified every single time I drop a video. Thank you. Basically, what I wanted to talk about is Victory Pro Wrestling's very next show, March 19th, live from the St. James Sports Arena in St. James, New York. And that is known as Blood, Sweat, and 19 Years. I believe it's what it's called. And I could be wrong with the amount of years, but still, it's Blood, Sweat, and 19 Years. It is our anniversary show, baby, from when we started all those years ago in Deer Park's Community Center. And I was not a part of the company in their inception, during their debut years, their friggin' pilot years. I was not around then. But with that being said, I do plan on hopefully one day working another VPW show. It won't be March 19th show, but I promise you, I guarantee you, that I will be in attendance. Barry Wolf will be in attendance at the next VPW show. You can promise yourself that. Now, if you know who I am, you know where I'll be in the crowd. You know what I look like. But if you don't know what I look like, well, baby, you're just about to see the debut of Barry Wolf. Not for Victory Pro Wrestling, but very, very, very shortly, I will be making my debut elsewhere. Where? I don't have a company in mind as of yet. I don't have anybody who booked me as of yet, but I promise you I'm working my ass off so that you guys can get the best damn entertainment from Barry Wolf, the agent to future champions, the agent of the stars, baby. So yeah. I plan on doing all that and more in professional wrestling. I have been out of wrestling, I've been out of professional wrestling now since basically the Gold Rush Rumble of 2021, which was like October-ish of last year. And I have not worked a single show since, and it is a travesty, in my opinion, that I haven't. I have been dying to get back in that ring. Yes, I got to start working out more. I'm not going to lie to you. I do have a gut. I do have a belly. But I got to work that out. I got to get slimmer. I got to tone myself down some more. So it might take another 6 months before a company of any kind takes me seriously as far as the way I look. So keep that in mind. It might take some time before I get back in the ring. But be damn assured, be damn aware that when I do get that booking, wherever it is, I will be the first to notify you, the subscribers, on the AWM Studios YouTube channel right here when I will be booked and where I'll be booked, so that you can get yourself a ticket to that show and see the debut of Barry Wolf. I promise you, whenever that happens, you'll be notified first right here on YouTube. Alright, so much beyond Barry Wolf for a minute, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory, an origin story of James B, referee James B, which is my other persona when I was a referee. And I loved being a referee. I loved it. But then after a while, it started getting boring and boring and boring and boring. But did I love it still? Did I still get butterflies before every single show? You bet your ass I did. And let me give you a bit of a backstory, like I said, about my career. All right? This goes all the way back to 2012. I was watching WWE like I always did since 2003-ish. And basically, I've been dreaming all my life. I wanted to get in a ring. I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to be a performer in a wrestling ring. I wanted the crowd to chant my name. James, 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 James. I wanted them to do that. But then, all the way comes 2012. My father and mother went to the local cinemas that used to be around, no longer around where I live. And they met a local independent wrestler who was working the movie theaters as an usher, let's just say. And for private sake, I'm going to change his name to keep the name a secret. I'm going to call him Brett, okay? So Brett basically told my parents, listen, there's this local wrestling school that runs in this guy's backyard, and he trains professional wrestlers the right way, the way they need to be taught safely and affordably. So if you want to take your son down to the wrestling school one day, here's the address, here's the days that they operate their wrestling school and when. Take him down, let him check it out, and if he's interested, you can talk to the promoter, you can talk to the trainer there. So he gave my parents the information. Let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks goes by. I finally want to check it out, so I do. I go down to a day when they're training, and this trainer, let's change his name and call him Andrew. Okay, let's just call him Andrew for a minute. So Andrew, the trainer, decides, hey, why don't I let your son in the ring? Sign the waivers so that, God forbid, anything happens, we're not liable. So my parents do, I do, and basically he's like, first day is free. The first day will be free. After that, we'll talk payments and how much it's going to cost. But this is just so we know if he wants to take it seriously, if he wants to do this for real, what it feels like to be slammed on his back, what it feels like to be dropped on his face, and what it's like to be a wrestler, basically. And if he's really, really passionate, we'll talk about it later. All right? So let's see. I get in the ring. I'm scared shitless because I have never, ever, ever been forced on purpose to fall on my back. So I didn't know what I was doing. So they trained me. They were like, okay, fall this way. Just tuck your head in and fall this way. Yada, yada, yada. This lasted maybe about 5-6 months, and then I was like, no, scratch that record. Lasted all of 2 to 3 months of me training to be a wrestler, and then I was scared because they were going to put me on some guy's shoulders like a fireman's carry. I was scared shitless. I did not want to be on people's shoulders. I did not want to be flipped around. I didn't want that. I was scared. So what do? I ask, okay, what other departments do you train in wrestling? They were like, well, we train wrestlers, as you know. We also train managers and referees. So I was like, okay, what about a manager? Because I still wanted to be a part of it. I still wanted the crowd to know who I was. So they're like, okay, to be trained as a manager, you're still training as a wrestler, which again means being on people's shoulders and learning how to take the bumps. I know how to take the basic back bump. I know how to take the basic front bump or face bump, whatever you want to call it. I know how to take that. Like I said, I didn't want to be on people's shoulders at all. That scared me. I don't know why, it just did. So I was like, okay, no, that's not for me. You said referee? Okay, let me train to be a referee, which is a lot safer. Let me tell you this. Even in certain situations when referees are supposed to take bumps and falls, it is still 100% safer than the falls that the wrestlers have to take, because the wrestlers are given the moves, the heavy moves, the big moves, the dramatic moves, and all of this, and they're falling hard. whereas a referee just falls to the side or falls on his back or whatever softly. So there is still danger in being a referee, but at the same time, it's not as big of a dangerous job to do as being the main attraction, the wrestler, the one that the fans are there for. So I decided, you know what? Referee it is. Referee it is. So from that point on, I was training to be a referee, and that took off maybe another, 5 to 7 months. And then we held a show in my hometown at a local bingo hall, which is no longer a bingo hall, it's a gym. But when it was a bingo hall, it was like 6 months later, after training for so long, I was offered a position out of nowhere. I was maybe 15 and a half, 16 years old. So with that being said, I didn't know that I could work a show. One, in New York State, legally you couldn't work a show until you were 18. Yes, legally until 18 you couldn't work a show, whether that was a referee, wrestler, manager. Nothing mattered. Whatever your role was, if you were in that ring or around that ring, you couldn't work the show. Now, you could work the show as a ring crew, which means setting the ring up and taking it down and setting up the arena with all the chairs. That much you could do at any age because you're not physically involved in the show. But to be a wrestler, manager, referee, didn't matter. Whatever it was, you have to be 18, at least minimum 18. To do anything like that. But I was like 16 at the time, and I was asked the last minute because there was 3 referees for the show. 2 referees were there, 1 was missing, maybe running late, maybe no showing, no one knew at the time. So they were told, okay, my trainer was asked by the promoter, do you have any of your students that are ready and willing to want to be a referee for the show just to help out? And Andrew, my trainer, said, yeah, I got this one person, James, who would love to be in the ring. And he's been training, and he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. We've had maybe about 12 to 15 practice matches at training. So he knows what he's doing. He's been trained properly in how to count the pins, how to call for executions like illegal moves, how to get them off the rope, and how to just authoritate himself and throw himself as the police officer, the authority figure. He knows how to push his boundaries and basically push them back and being like, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't put your hands on me, blah, 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 blah. He knows how to act. So, yeah, I could vouch for him. He knows what he's doing. So then my trainer comes to me, Andrew, and he's like, James, do you have your gear on you? I was like, no. Mind you, I did buy wrestling gear, like referee shirt, which is the zebra stripe shirt. I bought that. I didn't have dress pants, so I had to borrow a wrestler's dress pants, which luckily they fit me to a T at that time. And, well, to make a long story short, I had a blast, which you can check out my very first ever match on YouTube still. It's called SJR versus Bobby Dream, ECPW. It was 9/22/12. September 22nd, 2012 was my official live debut from ECPW. Mind you, about a week, 2 weeks before this show, we had a fundraiser show represented by my training school. So that was like my first break into the ring. But as far as the first professional wrestling show, like professionally in front of a large, semi-large crowd for a bingo halls size, I did all right, and I enjoyed it. I had a blast. So if you want to check out my very first ever East Coast Pro Wrestling match, go on to YouTube and check out SJR versus Bobby Dream. It was an epic moment. Mind you, I was still 120% green. I did not know what I was doing, but I still had a blast, and I still made it look entertaining, in my opinion. So check it out, SJR versus Bobby Dream. You're not gonna miss out on it. It's a wonderful video. It's a wonderful match. I had a blast doing it. That was my first ever match of the night that night, and that was the same night that Melina from WWE came down to face former WWE diva Jillian Hall. Again, my video clip of that match is also up on YouTube. All you gotta do is type in ECPW. WWE Melina versus Jillian Hall, and check out that video. It's like separated in like 3 or 4 different clips, but it's the full-length match. You just got to go from clip to clip to clip. I think each clip was like maybe 3 or 4 minutes at a piece, maybe 5 minutes at a piece at some points, but check it out. Those 2 matches, I had a blast. But to make another long story short, which I really, really want to do, I just had a blast working that show. That was my first show, and then I worked the rest of that year, which was just another like 3 or 4 months of it, because we worked like every other month or whatever. And then my last match for ECPW, my last show for East Coast Pro Wrestling was me ring announcing their December of 2015 show, December of 2016 show at the fire department in Ronkonkoma on Portion Road. Basically, I had a blast performing that show. You can check out all the matches that I ring announced. I ring announced the whole show from start to finish. I sounded a little green, but that was my second time ring announcing for them, and I had a blast. That's when I found out I had a passion for this, talking. I had a passion for talking. As you can tell, we're already about almost 17 minutes into this podcast already. Almost 17 minutes in. And I love to talk. I love to hear my own voice. But to make a long story short, that was my last ECPW show. Then January of 2017, I believe it was my debut with SWA, Suffolk Wrestling Alliance, which took place from the NYWC Sportatorium in Deer Park, Long Island, New York. And it was in the same building as the NYWC promotion, because they shared that building together. And I had a blast at that SWA show. I think I only worked like 2 matches because I was green there, but I wasn't green in my career, just green for that company. And for your knowledge, green means brand new, rookie, whatever you want to say, off the street, whatever you want to say. That's what green means. So if you hear me say green, or you hear a wrestler say they were green at one point, just know that means that they were brand new, scratch, off the books, whatever you want to say. They did not know what they were doing, or they did train, or whatever. That's what green means. Brand spanking new. Never before seen. Or uncharted, whatever. SWA was uncharted territories for me at that time. And I had a blast. Even if it was only 2 or 3 matches, I had a blast. I had a blast sharing the ring with one of my best referees of all time. One of my favorite referees of all time. And that's Tough Jim Steele. So Jim, if you're listening to this, also, just know I had a blast working with you in SWA. I wish I could still work with you in SWA or NYWC or wherever that matter is. I wish I could still work with you. You were one of my favorite referees to work with, to work along the side with, and I learned so much from you. I have tremendous respect for you, and I always will. You trained me so well just from being live on the show. I mean, I wasn't trained by you per se, but you gave me a lot of great advice, and I took it every single day seriously. Everything you told me I took seriously. So, Jim, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you. I've only improved because of you and the many other students that have trained me along the way at NYWC, and I can't be more thankful for each and every one of you that have given me advice and given me your time to teach me and help me advance in my career. Thank you. But with that being said, also, I had an amazing time at NYWC. I left on basically horrible issues with one of the wrestlers. I'm not going to name names because I don't air my dirty laundry on my podcast. I leave it 100% positive, as much positive as I can. But whatever that is, I left because of him, and I haven't been back since. Would I love to go back to NYWC and make another career out of it? Yes, I would. So if NYWC, if SWA, if VPW, if any other companies out there want me as a referee, manager, or ring announcer for that matter, I'm available. All you got to do is go to bookrefjames@gmail.com with the subject line reading possible booking. and I will look into it. I will contact you, and I'll talk to you personally one-on-one, and we can talk further. So whether you need me as a referee, ring announcer, or even a manager, or an in-ring talk show segment that happens once every 3 or 4 shows, whatever, I am your man. Book Ref James B, or rather just bookrefjames@gmail.com. Bookrefjames@gmail.com. One more time, bookrefjames@gmail.com. All my personal contact will be down in the comments, not comments, I know I say that a lot, down in the description box below. Also, my merchandise store will be listed also in the description box below. So please check out all those links and more right here. All right. I think we've had about enough time right here. We're about 20 minutes in, 22 minutes in almost 22 minutes in. I'm just going to end it right here by giving you the last of it. After leaving NYWC in 2017-ish, 2018, I checked out Victory Pro Wrestling, which was holding their shows at the time in a VFW hall in Center Reach, New York. And it was a tremendous experience. I worked them tremendously. You can see a bunch of my matches on their YouTube channel, Victory Pro Wrestling on YouTube, and you can check them out. I've worked many, many matches. I have 2 favorite matches I have ever worked thus far for Victory Pro Wrestling. That is the Steel Cage Tag Team match between the Even Stevens and the Shook Crew, Bryce Donovan and Bobby Orlando. And then the I Quit match between Bryce Donovan and Johnny Collins, which again, those 2 matches you can check on my YouTube page right now, AWM YouTube, or rather AWM Studios right here on YouTube, and check those 2 matches out. I just released the Steel Cage one. It's a little bit lengthy, maybe 21, 22 minutes itself, but it includes the promo of the match that was originally supposed to take place, and then it has the opening promo from Johnny Collins, followed by the actual Steel Cage Tag Team match at the end of the night. So please check out my videos on AWM Studios' official YouTube channel right here. Also subscribe, and click that bell icon to stay notified. Thank you. All that and more. Again, check out my merch store, and if you want to book me, all my information will be down in the description box below. Please check it out. Share this everywhere on social media to show some support. And please, if you can, I understand times are tough right now with the political stuff. I'm not getting into the political stuff, but because of everything that's happening in the world right now, I understand gas prices are jacking up everywhere in the U.S. So please, I understand times are tough, but if there is any way, shape, or form you can help support this channel, please do so by picking up some merchandise on my merchandise store. Even if it's only 1 shirt, or if it's only 1 mug, or if it's only 1 face mask, whatever it is, please pick up a shirt, face mask, or a mug today by checking out my store at bonfire.com/store/AWM Studios. Like I said, all the links will be down in the description box below. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Annihilation Lounge podcast right here on YouTube. Like I said, hopefully sometime in the future I'll get a better webcam so that when I do these podcasts, you can physically see me in the video. I apologize for the quality of video, but please still subscribe, click that bell icon, and share this all over social media to show support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great night, and talk to you all in the next one.